Hello everyone, welcome back to the Vegan Proteins channel. My name is Ben and today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 foods to sneak in extra protein. Okay, so where do you get your protein? It's a question that all of us vegans get. Now, I know that some of us don't enjoy eating protein as much as others, and so today I want to talk to you about ways that you can increase the protein in your diet and get you building muscle and achieving your vegan fitness goals without necessarily noticing it as much. So these are 5 of my favorite foods, and I'll even be throwing in some little tips and tricks here and there and some swaps that you can make if you have certain allergies or if you don't enjoy the ones that I'm going to be talking about today, or you can't have them for some other reason. Now, the first food that I want to talk about is vital wheat gluten. What is this? What is so vital about it? Well, if you're a bodybuilder, then it's quite vital to you, especially if you're vegan, because it is one of the best concentrated sources of vegan protein. So when we think about protein coming from plant sources, oftentimes it's coming with what we will sometimes refer to as tag-along carbs or fats. So if you think about beans, it has some protein in it, but it also comes with a lot of fats. Same thing with nuts. Some nuts, especially ones like peanuts or almonds, have a decent amount of protein per serving, usually about 7 or 8 grams for every 200 calories, which would be about an ounce of nuts, but it comes with a lot of fats as well. So finding isolated sources of protein is not always the most easy thing, especially if you're in a calorie deficit, you have weight loss goals, and you have to control your calories, which usually means that you're keeping protein higher, and then you have to take from either carbs or from fats. So what is vital wheat gluten and how is it actually made? Essentially what this is it's a wheat-based product where they take gluten, which is the protein in wheat, and they separate it out from the starch of the wheat, and you get left with this very kind of stretchy, glutinous substance. And in one serving, we have a quarter cup, 30-gram serving, is 110 calories, 1.5 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbohydrates, and 23 grams of protein. So you could compare this to omnivore sources like a chicken breast, and it's going to be comparable, if not even lower, in fats and carbohydrates. And vital wheat gluten is something that you can incorporate into lots of different things. My favorite way to use it is probably to increase the protein in homemade baked goods. So you could make your own breads with this, you can put it in protein muffins, bagels. Really, there's so many things you can do with it. You can make seitan. Seitan is something you've heard of. No, not Satan, S-E-I-T-A-N. I don't know who came up with that name or how it was formed, so if you do know, please let us know down in the comments. I'd actually be curious to know. But essentially what that is it's a meat replacement product where at its most simple level, it's just wheat, gluten, and water. You can take it, you can boil it, you can make it into your own mock meats. You can fry it up, basically anything that you would do with a chicken replacement product or a beef replacement product that you would buy in the store. You can make it yourself using vital wheat gluten, and what's nice about that is that you can add and customize it however you want. A lot of people like to actually combine it with another food that I'm going to talk about today, which is nutritional yeast, but I'll leave that for just a moment. Now, if you are interested in using vital wheat gluten, we do have some recipes here on the Vegan Proteins channel that have incorporated that in the past. So go check out our recipe playlist on the Vegan Proteins YouTube channel that you're watching right now. You can also head over to our website, veganproteins.com, and check out the massive list of recipes that we have there, over 200 recipes, and you'll get access to those and more when you decide to enroll in our Muscles by Brussels membership group, which comes with a ton of other perks that you can again check out on our website. So the second food that I want to talk to you about today is tempeh. Another kind of weird one along with seitan that I had never heard of before I went vegan. So what this is it's essentially a soy product similar to tofu, but instead of the way that tofu is made, which is, I believe, they take the soybean and it's something about the curd and they strain it off. Essentially what this is I think they take the whole soybeans and they kind of pack it into a cake. You can see this is kind of what it looks like here, and it is a fermented product as well. So it has probiotics, which are essentially live cultures. You'll find it in the refrigerated section, therefore, at the store. and it has basically the same nutrition as a tofu or an edamame. It's just in a slightly different form. Now, tempeh does have a bit of a acquired taste, a bit of a nutty texture, but what you can do if you'd like is you can soak it in boiling water, and that usually removes most of the bitterness associated with it. You can use it in similar ways to tofu in that you can cut it up into chunks, you can air fry it, you can toss it in a sauce. Personally, I like to buy it pre-flavored a lot of the times, just because it does take a little bit more effort to really get it to soak up the flavors, whereas tofu is more of a sponge. However, one of my favorite uses for this, and a reason that I put it on this list, is because you can dice it up really small and mix it into chilies, stir fries. What I'll often do is I'll dice it up into really small little pieces, mix it in with some rice and vegetables and some sort of teriyaki sauce, and you barely even notice it's in there. Now, if you do decide to put it in boiling water to remove some of that taste, that will kill off most, if not all, of the probiotics, the live culture bacteria, so that's just something to be aware of. And in one serving, which is 3 ounces or 84 grams, you have 150 calories, 6 grams of fat, 8 grams of carbohydrates, and 16 grams of protein. So another great source of protein. You will sometimes find them combined with other grains or other things kind of packed in there, like you can get a 3-grain quinoa, usually like amaranth or something, and the tempeh as well. So that's something that you can look out for. I just like the kind of the plain soy boy brand here. You could get tempeh bacon, which is basically they slice it up super thinly and they put a marinade in it. Lots of ways to incorporate tempeh into your nutrition plan, but I would say that if you're looking for a way to increase the protein in your diet without really noticing it, dicing up the tempeh and kind of mixing it in with different recipes is a way, especially if you have a kind of strong sauce or flavor in there, that you probably won't even really notice it. You can also apply this to tofu, or even something like textured vegetable protein, which is made from soy flour, is another one that you could kind of throw into this same category, where if you dice it up really small, in the case of TVP, it comes already kind of like in those small little chunks, and you can really put it in stuff without even noticing it. The next food that I want to talk about is peanut flour, or basically powdered peanut butter is the source that you will find it in grocery stores. So you can get a brand like PB Fit, PB2. This one has peanut flour, coconut palm sugar, and salt. But if you'd like, as I've talked about in a previous video, you can buy it basically as just plain peanut flour. Peanut flour is made similarly to Vital Wheat gluten, where they take peanuts, they roast them, they grind them up into a powder, and they extract the fat, leaving you with mostly just protein. A little bit of carbs and a little bit of fat still are left over. And this is really nice because you can make your own homemade sauces with it. You can stir it into oatmeal. You can put it in your smoothies. Basically, any way that you would use protein powder, if you want it to be kind of like a peanutty flavor, you can use peanut flour. So you will notice it because of the flavor of the peanut flour, but it's a really easy way to bump up the protein without necessarily thinking about it, especially if you do prefer to not use a protein powder and you want something that is a little bit closer maybe to the whole food source. So that's peanut flour. In one serving, you have 70 calories. It's 2 tablespoons or 16 grams, and you can just mix it with water to reconstitute it. 2 grams of fat, 5 grams of carbohydrates, and 8 grams of protein. Now, the next food that I want to talk about is soy milk. Now, soy milk is one of the plant milks that contains the most amount of protein, and this is great because you can mix it into your coffee. You can again put it into smoothies, oatmeals, anything that has a liquid component, really baking with it. You could make a really great recipe combining soy milk, peanut flour, and Vital Wheat gluten. You could make some kind of baked good with that, and that would have a ton of protein in it, and it would probably taste pretty good as well. Soy milk is creamy. It generally has a bit of more of a neutral taste to it, so again, you're really not going to notice it if you make a smoothie and you're just swapping out your almond milk for your soy milk. Of course, it'll have more calories than something like an unsweetened almond milk, but the fact that it has more protein is definitely a benefit. This brand has the most protein in a soy milk per cup that I've found, and I think that's because it tends to be a little thicker and a little bit less watery than some other soy milks, and it's unsweetened. So this is the Eden soy brand. In 1 cup, you have 120 calories, 6 grams of fat, 4 grams of carbohydrates, and 12 grams of protein. So it's going to be a little bit higher calorie than some other soy milks, just again because they take the soybeans and it's more concentrated. But the only ingredients are purified water and organic soybeans. So it's a really quote unquote clean or less processed soy milk, and you can get a lot in a little amount of liquid. So in a typical cup of unsweetened soy milk, it'll be 80 calories and 8 grams of protein. So this has almost 50% or about 50% more protein. So this is one of my favorite soy milks to buy. And my other recommendation, if you don't have this near you, it is a little bit more pricey as well, would be to just go with the Silk unsweetened soy milk, which also comes in a green container, and you can get it in a larger 64-ounce carton. Now, the last food that I'm going to talk about is nutritional yeast. This is a favorite among vegans. So nutritional yeast has a bit of a cheesy texture to it. It is kind of like a condiment in that oftentimes you'll add it on top of things, or you will stir it into recipes at the last second. I like to put it on pasta. I like to sprinkle it over the top of a lot of different savory dishes. You can make sauces with it. Alice has made a couple of awesome recipes with nutritional yeast on the channel before. It's packed full of B vitamins, and it's actually relatively high in protein per calories. So it's made from yeast, dried yeast. As it says, Bragg's, this is the brand here. Good source of protein on the front. Cheesy, savory seasoning without the dairy. Now I sound like I'm a spokesperson for Bragg's or something. By the way, I totally didn't even mention this. It looks like this is a backdrop because I'm trying to be super professional, but this is actually where I take my check-in photos for my bodybuilding progress. So thought I'd just throw that in there. But the ingredients are dried yeast and then basically all the B vitamins that are included, which is especially important if you are vegan. B12, which is something that is in nutritional yeast. Now, I would still usually recommend that you supplement and don't rely completely on getting your B vitamins from foods, but it is nice to know that it's in there. In 2 tablespoons, you have 10 grams, 40 calories, 0 grams of fat, 3 grams of carbohydrates, and 5 grams of protein. So you can almost think of it as like a savory protein powder. You can make a lot of recipes just bump up the protein a little bit by adding a couple tablespoons of this, and it not only enhances the flavor, but it gives you more protein and more B vitamins. So it really is a great thing to incorporate. Now, one thing you want to know about nutritional yeast, especially if you're consuming it in larger quantities, is that because of the B vitamins, it will turn your pee yellow. So don't be super alarmed. Don't think that you're super dehydrated. That is the B vitamins, because B vitamins are water soluble, meaning that they don't need to be absorbed with any type of vitamins to be uptaken into our body, like the fat soluble vitamins, which are vitamins A, D, E, and K, and then all the other ones are water soluble. So these are 5 foods that I feel like are pretty easy to throw into recipes and to incorporate your diet. There's ways to just sneak in a little bit extra protein, as we're always trying to do as vegans who have health and fitness goals. If you have health and fitness goals and you are looking to work with a team of qualified professionals, that's what we do here at Vegan Proteins. We have one-on-one online coaching as our premium service. You can head over to veganproteins.com/personal training to learn more about that. We'd love to work with you. I have some roster spots available right now. So if you're interested in getting in the best shape of your life, having a coach who provides you with a customized plan, you're checking in every week, you have accountability, you have access to our community, support, we are here for you however you need, and we look forward to hearing from you soon. So if I forgot anything, if I left it out, let me know down in the comments below, and I will see you in the next video.